Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay everybody, so yes, this video is late once again. It is currently Sunday. I am filming Sunday. If you guys didn't watch my last video, I said that I've been having a rough couple of weeks, and that rough couple of weeks is still going on and will most likely keep going for the next 2 weeks maybe. So yeah, that's my personal dilemma. So if videos are late, I really do apologize, but just know that I'm not going to disappear. Other than that, I really don't have any updates, so I'm going to bring you guys up close. There we go. Okay, so my quick usual little rundown for anybody who is new here. For most of the video, I will be looking in this direction because my mirror's over here and I would like to see what I'm doing. I do tell these story times in a first person point of view. If you don't like that, then you can leave, and these story times are sent in by anonymous people. Okay, so a little background information. I was 21 and a junior in college, but back whenever I was in high school, I had a really hard time making friends, mainly because my family and I were always moving from state to state because of my mom's job. So after I graduated high school, I was super nervous about going to college because I really thought that I was going to have the same exact issues that I had whenever I was in high school, because I did not have the social skills for that shit either. And this actually made me not want to go to college at all, because listen to this, not only would I not have any friends, but my family would still be traveling all over the country, so I wouldn't have them here with me, so I pretty much wouldn't have anybody. But my mom told me I was going to college. So we went and toured a few of the colleges that we were living near at the time. And I ended up picking this one school that was literally amazing. It was like one of those colleges that you see in the movies. The campus was huge. It was literally right near the beach. And as soon as classes started, I met 3 of my closest friends, Josh, Julia, and Cynthia. And we were all like a little friend group clique thing. Like, we had our friends outside of our friend group, and then it was us 4 who were actually best friends. But all of them actually knew a bunch of people, which I thought was really weird because they were all coming in as freshmen just like I was. So how the fuck did they know this many people? But I found out that they all actually have lived like 20 minutes away from this campus their whole lives. And I guess that their senior year of high school, a lot of the kids that had went to their high school were now going to this college, so they would just go up there with their high school friends and party with all the college kids too, which is actually really smart if you think about it. Anyways, I had a lot of the same classes as Julia and Josh, and none of us actually had any classes with Cynthia, but she was Julia and I's roommate. And we all got an apartment together this year, and we were paying $800 a month each. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and the $800 covered pretty much everything, like groceries, internet, water, and whatever other utilities there are, which was not bad at all considering I was literally a really broke college student. Like, during the summertime I was able to make bank, but during school I could only have 1 job if I wanted to focus on my schooling. So during the year it was quite a struggle because, oh yeah, I think I forgot to mention, I also didn't have any help from my family, which I'm not saying that they should help me, but I haven't heard from them since they dropped me off at college. Like, they literally left a week after I started, and they paid for it like full and everything, like full ride to college. But yeah, I just haven't heard from them ever since. So they could be dead, or they just could not want anything to do with me. But you know what, period, life goes on, right? Right. So Josh lived in the same building and on the same floor and literally 3 doors down from us. Like, to be honest, I literally loved our little clique that we had. You know, like, after we were all done class, we would go to either of our apartments and we would either play games, study, or get drunk. Usually we chose option number 3, but it was also like we were in like a little neighborhood, you know? Anyway, so every Saturday we had a very strict routine that we would follow, which pretty much consisted of waking up, going and getting breakfast, going to the gym, pre-gaming until it was time to pre-game some more at the tailgate, and then we would all try to make it to the game. And yes, I said try, because more times than not, there was at least one of us, if not all of us, who wouldn't make it to the games because either one of us got too fucked up and was laying in a puddle of our own puke. There was one time where Cynthia was walking on the highway trying to get home, didn't ask anybody for a ride, or 3, they could get lost. Like Josh literally fell asleep in the woods because he went to go and smoke. Yeah, so you know, these were always super eventful for us. Now, when this would happen, obviously the other 3 of us would get super fucking annoyed because of course we were gonna look after each other. We weren't just gonna leave them. So, you know, we would have to take whoever got too drunk back home and try to make it back for the game, which almost never happened. But on the days where we all did end up making it to the games, after it was over, we would usually go back to our apartment building and go to one of the parties that someone would be throwing there, because my apartment building was filled with literally all college students, and it was pretty much also the spot for college parties. Like, there was literally one floor that was all guys who love to drink and smoke and throw huge parties. To be honest, you would actually think that they dropped out of college because of how much they party, but that's besides the point. So, you know, on one of these very fine evenings, I may have had a little bit too much to drink. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Only because I was forced to do Edward 40 hands, okay? And then take 3 shots of tequila after. And if you don't know what Edward 40 hands are, it's literally, it's where you have these 2 brands of beers in your hand, they're taped to your hands, and you have to drink. Anyways, okay, maybe I was not forced, but technically I feel like I was, because if you don't do it, then you look like a pussy. What do you think? I'm gonna stand there and look like a pussy? Ah, peer pressure at its finest. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna call it forced. Well, anyways, it was not the best idea because I blacked out and had no clue what happened the rest of that night. I guess the good news was I did not have to go to the hospital for alcohol poisoning. That's like #1 best thing right there, because I wasn't even sure if I had health insurance, to be honest. But there was like this one guy at the party, right, who was either an EMT or he was an EMT in training, some BS like that, okay? And from what everybody tells me, this man apparently saved my life. Apparently he drove my friends and I back to my apartment because somehow I managed to end up 20 minutes away from our apartment. Weird, but not out of the usual. That's bad. So anyways, you know, he goes into the apartment with my friends and he sets me up with some water and some other things that'll help me. And I guess before he left, he had asked one of my roommates for my phone number. And like I said, I have no recollection of anything that happened the night before, or actually after the first fucking tequila shot that I took. Everything gone out the window after that. So I'm over here not knowing if this guy's like ugly or not, and I know you guys are probably thinking, okay, why does that matter when this guy literally apparently saved your life? Well, first of all, let me just tell you this. If this man does call me and I don't know what the hell he looks like, and he asks to meet up with me, and say I'm expecting to see someone who is very attractive because, you know, his voice, he like catfished me with his voice or something, I'm going to be extremely upset, okay? Now I know you guys are also probably thinking, well, couldn't you just ask your friends if he was good looking? No, because they had very, very, very questionable taste, okay? Like, for example, Cynthia, oh my god, Cynthia dated a man who wore skirts 24/7, and I'm not talking a jean skirt, no, this kind of skirt. And it was like a weird length one because it was literally one of those ones that went right above the ankle, like low-key near the middle of the shin, but didn't exactly meet the whatever the fuck it was supposed to be. Not only that, but he would wear some Jesus sandals with a bandana and a sweater with holes in it that he put in himself. And not to mention, he would literally wear that fucking skirt every single day, because he did not have another one that was like that one. Yep. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the long version of why I will never ever 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 ask my friends if someone was good looking or not. Because to be honest, I could ask everybody if he was ugly or not, and you know, Cynthia's ass would chime in and be like, ew, no, he was so ugly because he don't wear a fucking skirt. Girl, bye. Anyways, next morning, my friends tell me everything that happened the night before, and I decided to text him and say thank you for saving my life, apparently, because that's what everybody keeps fucking calling it. So, you know, we talked over the phone for a little bit, and he sounded really hot over the phone, so I decided to text him to get his Instagram, because like I said earlier, I'm not trying to get catfished because someone sounds hot. And if you guys couldn't tell, this was very important to me because it has happened before. Not a good experience. Anyway, so I checked out his Instagram. Y'all, he was actually hot as fuck. So after I found out that this man was a 10, I texted him and I was like, hey, you know, like, I really do owe you for saving my life. Why don't you let me take you out to lunch? So of course he took me up on that offer, but before we went out to lunch, I decided that we would go to lunch on Thursday. So that gave me enough time to stalk the hell out of him and his family. Don't look at me like that. Don't fucking look at me like that, okay? This is normal. This has been normalized already, okay? 2022, and like I've said before, if you don't stalk people that you are about to meet in person for the first time, 1, that's like asking for a death sentence, okay? 2, you're the weird one. And besides, I had to make sure he didn't have a girlfriend or anything because that's also happened to me. But you know, after stalking his Instagram, his friend's Instagram, his family's Facebook, I actually found out a good amount of information. Maybe I took the whole stalking his social media thing a little bit too far when I went digging on his grandma's Facebook page. I will admit I was wrong for that one, okay? Anyway, so I found out he got 3 cats. Every Tuesday, him and his family go to Taco Tuesday and they go and see a movie together. He is really into hockey and he loves to cook. Okay, so listen, now that I knew all this shit about him, right, I could decide whether I wanted to pursue another date by talking about all this stuff that I know somehow, or I could decide that this is a one-time thing and just not talk about any of this shit, or specifically mention that I hate all of that. Like, I hate people with cats. I hate people who have families. I very much dislike tacos. Hockey's stupid. If you cook, then you're ugly. I don't know. That was like the plan that was inside my head. I probably need help. So, you know, Thursday rolls around and we met at this cute little beach restaurant and I didn't dress up at all. Like, this was a casual little lunch meetup, not date, lunch meetup. So what was I wearing? I was wearing an oversized t-shirt, some biker shorts, and a pair of Jordans. And I had no makeup on. My hair was extremely matted when I woke up this morning, so I just threw my hair up in a bun. Didn't bother to brush it or do it or anything like that. See, now him on the other hand, he took this very seriously. He had on a very nice polo shirt with some khaki shorts and some Sperry's, which I didn't even know they fucking made those anymore. Anyways, y'all get the gist. So, you know, I'm walking over casually wanting to go and drown myself in the ocean because I'm so embarrassed about how I'm dressed and how he took this way more serious than I did, because not only was he dressed nice, but whenever I was walking up to the table, he got up, gave me a hug, pulled out my chair, and then handed me a bouquet of flowers. Yep. Not only that, but he lied. He was like, you look really beautiful today. But you know what? I'll give him points. He was trying. Until about 10 minutes in, whenever I realized this just wasn't gonna work. He was low-key boring as fuck. And I got the ick right away because 1, he was too nice. And 2, when I would try to throw some playful sarcasm or attitude his way, he just wasn't having it. Like, he told me that he used to be super good at hockey and I was like, oh, okay, sure. And he's like, no, seriously, I was. Okay, chill. Oh, and I forgot to mention one more thing. He was like extremely sexist and racist. Yeah, like our server was Latino, and he was like, wow, I didn't know the cleaning crew also served the food here. Yeah. And then he was talking about his views on women. You know how women have it so easy in life, men have it really hard. He hates how women complain about everything, like about not being paid as much as a man when we can't do what men do. And you know, I'm not usually an expressive person, meaning facial expressions. Like, I'm usually able to just keep my composure when somebody says some shit that I don't like. But he could definitely see the disgust on my face after he made these comments, because he would awkwardly laugh it off like he was joking. But you can definitely tell by what kind of laugh it was that he didn't feel like he should have to do that. He meant those statements that he made. So yeah, I pretty much wasted $140 on lunch just for me to decide that I will never see this person ever again. I also wasted like 2.5 hours of my life. What do I look like? Because not only did he decide that he wanted lunch, he decided he wanted an appetizer, lunch, 2 sides, a margarita, and a fucking dessert. Like, he really just like wrapped up my bill. I only got an appetizer as a meal. Whatever. Like, he should have just not bought the flowers and went and bought himself a fucking snack before we came here. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he was super good looking, but if you don't have the right morals or personality to go with the looks, and you can't go 10 minutes without being a dick, you are fugly. And something is not right with you. You can stay the hell away from me. So the waiter comes and grabs the check, and while we're waiting for him to bring me back my card, and he goes, so I guess I'll decide what we're doing for our next date. See, this is exactly what I was hoping to avoid. This right here. Right here. So there's just like a really awkward pause because I'm sitting there thinking what to say and how to put it nicely, even though I really should just throw my drink in his face and walk away. But you know, I'm like, oh wow, I wouldn't call this a date. This was not a date. And he goes, you know, you're like really funny for a girl. And then after this, he continues and he goes into, you're exactly my type, and I can just definitely tell that I'm yours too. Like, we are on the same fucking level, like we vibe, so we should just definitely call this a date. So now I have to bust out the big guns. And I'm like, listen, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I really don't want you to. But I'm not looking for anything serious right now. Actually, for a while. I literally just wanted to say thank you for helping me that one night by taking you out to lunch. I'm really sorry if I gave off the wrong impression. So he's like, I mean, you know that you would be dead right now if I wasn't there, right? So then I decide to pull out the I'm working on myself spiel. I was like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like right now just really isn't the best time. I'm taking time to work on me and focus on me. So that way when I do get into a relationship, I'm the best version of myself that I can give to that other person. And not only that, I really want to focus on school because I want to have my life together whenever that day comes. So then this freaking prick says, well, we can still hook up while you take time to focus on yourself, school, and work, you know, like you said. So I laugh and I'm like, well, that's not gonna work either. Nothing will. I shouldn't have to explain myself, but I want and need to be alone for a while. So after I say that, it is extremely awkward, and he made it known that he was upset by huffing and puffing, you know, crossing his arms, literally acting like my 6-year-old brother would. You know, he's slamming stuff, and I don't mean like getting up and freaking wailing chairs across the room. No, I mean like he was slamming his phone down on the table, and I could tell that he wasn't the person to red up the table after he was done eating, but just to make more noise, he's grabbing the glass plates and stacking them on top of each other and setting them down on the table so that way they'll make annoying ass noises and loud noises. By the way, a little side note that has literally nothing to do with the story. When I say red up, that pretty much means like half-ass cleanup. Like just get things out of the way and make it look nice. It's a Pittsburgh saying. So if I say red up the living room, it pretty much means put everything away. And yeah. Anyways, back to the story. So anyways, he runs off to the bathroom to do only God knows what. Probably literally asking God why I couldn't just be a pushover who will listen to anything a man says. But real quick, where the fuck is the waiter? Where is he? Where is the fucking waiter? Like, I want to leave before this man kidnaps me, technically adult naps me, but that's besides the fucking point. So, you know, he comes back from the bathroom very calm and collected, like a psychopath. Like, he literally did not just have a fucking outburst like 3 minutes ago. So, you know, I told him it's not you, it's me. And I thanked him one more time before I left. So, you know, we both go our separate ways, as we should, because I did not want to be around that tool bag of a prick. So fast forward to Saturday, one of my other friends who is also friends with this guy, and we're just gonna call this guy Gabe. Okay, his name is Gabe. So, you know, since this friend was friends with Gabe, that means that Gabe was going to be at his area of the tailgate, okay, pre-game area, right? So my friends and I decide to go somewhere else because we don't want to be anywhere near him. Okay, so, you know, I'm having a good time, I'm drinking, hanging out with my friends, when all of a sudden someone comes up from behind me and gives me a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Yeah, like as if we're dating or something. Ew. So Josh and everybody is looking at me like, who the fuck is that? So I turn around and I'm like, hey bud, wrong person. And he's like, no, silly, I meant to hug you. He was like, I know who I'm hugging, blah 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 blah. You know, he's like all fucking drunk, talking out his ass. Like, one, he was drunk, two, he smelled like puke, and he kept trying to hug me and kiss me and hang out with me. So eventually, what do? I pretend that one of my friends is missing and I need to go and find her. Well, just when I thought, you know, the oldest trick in the book would work, it doesn't. This freaking dude is like, no, you can't be going out there by yourself, you need someone to protect you. So like a little puppy who lost his mommy, he's following me around the whole fucking parking lot. Like, dude would not leave me alone. He did drop his phone at one point, so I ran and went to hide behind something, and then he was running and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm looking for my friend behind this trash can, she's not here. Oh my god, what the fuck does it look like I'm doing? I don't want to be near you. That's what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing, trying to avoid you. Fast forward, eventually it's time for me to go into the game with my friends, and I told him that, you know, his friends were looking for him, they're really worried, so I gotta go with my friends, he should go with his. And to be honest, I had no clue if this kid even had fucking friends, so that was a made-up lie. I just wanted him to get away from me, and luckily he did for a few seconds, because I went into the game with my friends, and he comes up to my friend group and is trying to convince them to let him sit next to me. Yes. Well, eventually he decided that he didn't care what my friends said anymore. So he literally just went and sat in the seat that Cynthia was going to sit in. So I get up, I say I have to go to the bathroom, I walk away, when in reality I was texting some of my other friends the whole time, and they were like, hey, yeah, you can come and sit with us, you know. So I leave my friends with him. They already knew the deal. I texted them, I was like, hey, I'm sitting with someone else, y'all can take care of that situation, please. So after the game, Julia, Cynthia, Josh, and I all make our way to one of these parties. Thankfully, I had not seen Gabe since the whole incident inside with the seats. Like, I have no idea why this kid is so whipped after we literally had one lunch together, and I was literally standoffish to him the whole entire time. So yeah, so, you know, a few hours into the party, I check my phone and my phone is literally blowing up. I have 40 text messages, I have 16 voicemails, and I have 20 calls. One was, meet me at the bar, I'm at the bar with my friends want to meet you, girls are coming up to me and they're asking me if I have a girlfriend, so you better get here quick. I mean, I told them that I have a girlfriend, but they don't believe me, so you need to hurry up before they find out that I really don't have one. And this is kind of embarrassing because I told everybody that you were gonna be here, and I don't want to look like a liar. You are a liar. You literally are. Half of the text that you just sent me, lie. So I text him and I tell him, I'm not coming to the bar. And he calls me literally 2 seconds after I send that text, right? He's like, I need you here though, like, you really need to come to the bar. And I'm like, dude, I'm not coming to the bar. And I hang up the phone. So he texts me and he's like, so what, a party's more important than I am? That's when I decide to block him. I block him on Snapchat, Instagram, not on text, but on Snapchat and Instagram, just so that way he can't see what I'm doing, because I don't want him showing up here like a fucking weirdo. Like, he wasn't invited, none of his friends are here. I don't know any of his friends, but I'm guessing none of his friends are here, because if they're friends with a weirdo like that, they're pretty much probably all weirdos. Fast forward, I am drunk, having a great time, and then a little bit later, I go downstairs to get into the Uber that I had called, but as soon as I walk down the stairs, who do I see sitting on the couch? This creepy guy, Gabe. It's literally Gabe. He's sitting on the couch being a fucking weirdo, just sitting there like looking around at everybody, trying to find me. So I bolt back upstairs. I grab Cynthia and I'm like, Cynthia, you need to distract him while I get into the Uber. Like, you need to do something. And then after you distract him, when I get in, you run outside after me and get in the Uber. So She runs downstairs, she goes, and she's like standing in front of him so that way he can't see like who's coming down and up the stairs. So while she's standing in front of him, I bolt down the stairs, run out the back door through the kitchen, and run around the house to get into the Uber. And then I call her, and she starts running out to the Uber while he's like running after her, and he stops at the doorway and he's like looking, and he's like, is that you? And I'm like, no, it's not. And I tell the Uber, I'm like, hurry up, I'll give you $20, hurry up. So we get home, and the whole way home, Cynthia was telling me that this guy gave her very creepy vibes, and she said that I need to block him. She was like, yeah, dude, he's literally fucking obsessed with you. Like really, really, really obsessed. He was accusing me of knowing where you were the whole time and keeping you from him, and the reason why he knew you were at this specific party was because he has your location on Snapchat. And I'm like, how does he have my location on Snapchat when I literally don't even have my location on? I'm guessing it was the night that I was drunk that he shared my Snapchat location with him, which is weird. Really, really, really weird. Like, I have seen this guy literally 3 times in person for less than like 3 hours combined. Like, we went out to lunch so I could thank him. That is the last fucking time you see me be nice to anybody. Last fucking time. She also said that like he was really pissed off because he said that I was cheating on him with another guy. That's why I wouldn't answer him back. That's why I wouldn't go out to the bar with him, because I was really with some other guy. I was cheating on him. Oh my god. And apparently I took him on this wonderful date, and then I'm hanging out with some random guy, Josh, my best friend. Like, I'm pretty sure if there was something there, we would have started dating a while ago. But yeah, apparently this made him really upset because I said I had to work on myself, and then he found out that I was cheating on him, blah, 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 blah. So now I'm having to explain to everybody that he told this to that I am in no way, shape, or form talking, dating, or friends with him. Like, I literally told this kid there was no fucking chance of us even happening. So, you know, the girls and I get home, we go get showers, we get cleaned up, and then we're all in Cynthia's room talking about the situation. And, you know, we're all like sitting huddled on the bed, you know, here's me, here's Cynthia, here's Julia. And it's like one of those things where like I'm texting him and I'm like, okay, what should I say next? And then Cynthia's like, oh, you need to add this in there. And then Julia's like, yeah, remember whenever he did this too? Put that shit in there. That type of thing. So I started out by saying, I really do not appreciate you stalking me, especially whenever I'm just trying to have fun with my friends. You are not my type. I will never and have never liked you. You're actually a douchebag. And instead of answering back with something like, fuck you, you fucking bitch, he just says, I really miss you. Did you make it home okay? I just want to make sure that you're safe and okay. So I texted him and I'm like, the only one making me not feel safe here is you. Like, you're weird. I don't like you. You can't just show up anywhere I am whenever you want. You can't come up from behind me and hug me and touch me whenever I don't want you to. And even if we were talking or something like that, you can't just come up to me and be like, I want to hang out with you, and expect me to drop everything that I'm doing just to hang out with you. So then he texts me and he's like, well, I'm one of your friends and I really care about you and I just want to make sure that you're safe. So next time, let me know when you're going out, okay? So at this point, all of us are looking at each other like, and we realized that we're never going to get the point across that I don't fuck with him. So then I decided to send a very clear message about how I feel, because clearly I was not clear enough. I block him. And I'm hoping this is one of those situations where, like, you know, a guy really likes a girl, so, you know, he gets a little obsessive, the girl blocks him, he takes the L and just decides that, you know, all right, it's time for me to move on. She blocked me, she really don't want it. Nope. So at the next tailgate, we go to a completely different spot, like one that is nowhere near our usual spot that Gabe took over. So, you know, we did our pregame, had fun, we all went into the game, sitting there, and then all of a sudden I see him walking down the stairs and he's making direct eye contact with me, like not breaking it, just literally. And it wasn't one of those stares where, like, I'm gonna come up to you and kick your ass. It was one of those, like, he's just, like, staring at me, making sure that he's staring at me. I don't even know. But he comes right up to me and he's like, hey, babe, I missed you. You should have came over and hung out with us. We were having a lot of fun. So at this point, I'm like, would you mind leaving me alone, please? Like, I don't know how clear I can be about this. I blocked you. You're literally fucking blocked on everything. And I'm tired of being nice because you're never gonna get the hint, no matter how nice I am. Like, I wanna watch the game with my friends and you're kind kind of ruining that for me. Why don't you go and hang out with your friends and I'll hang out with mine. Oh my god, he starts freaking out. He's like, you're such a stuck-up bitch for no fucking reason. You need to get your ass beat and learn some manners. You're just like every other girl that I've dated, blah 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 blah. So then he opens his beer and pours it on me. Yup. I was in literal shock, and I'm like, and then he runs up the stairs, you know, like a little pee, and then my friends go running after him, and of course I'm literally bawling my eyes out because like there's beer all in my hair, all over my face, my clothes and everything, and it's not like it was warm outside. So I go home, get in the shower, wash myself off. I decide to make a report with the school, and turns out there was nothing that they could really do about it because he wasn't even a student at the school. So now I'm in a very vengeful mood. Like, all I can think about is when I see him this weekend, I'm gonna ruin his fucking day. So when Saturday rolls around, you know, I go to his spot where he pre-games, and as soon as I see him, he literally gets in his freaking truck, locks the doors. So I go and I pick up a few beers that were just sitting around, you know, and I start pouring them on his truck, and then I start kicking his truck and punching it, and then eventually security comes over, and you know, so we get in the game, and I'm walking around with a beer in my hand looking for this kid so that way I can dump it on his head. But I couldn't find him, and a few people told me that once he found out that I was looking for him, he left. So that was weird. Like, you're all big and bad whenever, you know, I'm being nice to you. And at the next game, he wasn't there, but the one after that, I knew he was gonna be there because that was the last home game. So, you know, I'm with my friends, we're walking, and I see him and his friends walking. So I have a beer in my hand, and I start walking up to him, and one of his friends gets in between us. And of course, this one just happened to be a cop. And he's like, listen, if you don't stop harassing my friend, I will arrest you. And I'm like, what the fuck? Which is hilarious because apparently he told all of his friends everything that he was doing to me, but instead I was doing it to him. So at that point, I just decided to enjoy the rest of my night, go home. And my friends and I had a few people over, which turned into a huge party. And at 11:30 at night, Gabe walks into my apartment. So I run up to him and I'm standing there and I'm like, leave, you're not welcome here, get the fuck out. And he's like, well, why can't I just come in? Like, I feel really bad about what happened and I just would like to apologize and like make amends. So then I start pushing and shoving him and I'm like, get out. And he's like, well, who's gonna make me? I was like, the cops when I call them. And he's like, you won't call the cops because then this whole party will get shut down. And I was like, do you want to bet? Because I literally will tell everybody to go home and I will call the cops. Like, don't fucking test me. So then he flips me off, walks down the hallway, and at around 1 in the morning, Julia and Josh come up to me and they're like, dude, guess what? And I'm like, what? They're like, Gabe just came out of your room. And I'm like, what the are you guys talking about? They're like, yeah, we just saw him walk out of your room and walk out of the party. And I'm like, well, that's weird because I kicked his ass out a few hours ago. So then I run into my room and I'm looking for shit that could be missing. And I had a bag of stuff that was supposed to go to Goodwill. It had a bunch of old clothes in it. And then I had a bag of clothes that were garbage that Goodwill wouldn't take. You know, it was like underwear and stuff like that. Half of the underwear was missing. The shirt that I wore to our lunch was also missing. And then Josh and Cynthia are like, oh my god. So I turn around and they're pointing to my pillow, and there is what seems to be semen on my pillow. Yup. So now I have no choice but to kick everybody out and call the police. So I call the police, and long story short, they couldn't do shit because they're literally fucking useless. They literally just charged him with theft because they saw a few things in his apartment that belonged to me, but that didn't do anything. So then I decide that I'm gonna get a restraining order against him. So for the next couple of months, I don't see or hear from him. I am living my life, like, period, doing me. Like, he just completely fell off the face of the earth and I could not give 2 fucks. But I want to say a little bit after New Year's, I am sitting at the bar with my friends and I look across the bar and I see him sitting with his friends. Now, every part of me wanted to literally take my drink and go over there and spill it all over him. But I decided that I was going to take the high road, you know, he hasn't bothered me in a while, so I'm just gonna leave it. And it's been a few months since the whole situation, so why am I going to start something that is finished, clearly? But my friends and I do decide to leave that bar and go to the one next door, just because even though the situation was over, I was over it, I still did not want to be near him. Because watch, one look at him and all of a sudden he'd be seduced again and it would be my fault. Some bullshit like that. Pretty much. So, you know, I'm at this bar, I'm having a good time whenever him and his friends walk in, and I decide that this is the last bar. I'm going home after this, so I go down to the bathroom, and I'm using the bathrooms that are in the basement instead of the ones upstairs, because you would think that the ones downstairs would be nastier than the ones upstairs, but since everybody like needs to pee and they don't want to have to walk that far, everybody uses the ones upstairs. So I go down to the basement, I use the bathroom, and I walk out, and who is standing literally right in front of me? Gabe. Yeah, he pins me up against the wall and he's like, why did you ruin my life? Like, you called the cops on me all because I was just trying to love you. So I cut him off and I start screaming, and he pushes me into this plant and just runs upstairs. So now my ass is covered in dirt and I'm like, fuck this shit. So I run upstairs after him, and as he's running out of the bar, I'm literally like calling the cops over, and I'm like, he just fucking hit me, he hit me, he hit me. So then one cop starts going after him, the other one's talking to me. Once again, they can't do shit. So over the next few weeks, he slashed Josh's tires, he broke all the windows in my car, and I have never believed in like guns, but I decided at this point my stun gun and my pepper spray probably weren't gonna help me if this kid actually did something to me. And the one day Julia comes running in the apartment screaming, and I'm like, whoa, what happened? She's like, you're never gonna guess who I just saw in the elevator. And I'm like, who? And she's like, Gabe's moving into our apartment building. So now I'm like, fuck no. So what do? I call the police, and thankfully the one thing they were able to do was put him on like house arrest, I guess, because he violated his restraining order. It wasn't really a house arrest, I guess, or maybe it was. He like had to get permission to go places and stuff like that. I don't know what that is. And definitely the last straw was the one day whenever he came to the apartment. I was in the shower, Cynthia was in the living room watching TV. He knocks on the door, so Cynthia doesn't know who it is. She goes and opens the door, and he pushes her when he walks in, and then he grabs something and hits her over the head with it. So she's knocked the fuck out. And then I get out of the shower and I hear, like, you know, the door closing. So I call out Cynthia's name, and I also call out Julia's name. And that's whenever Gabe comes around the corner and pushes me up against the wall, and he's like screaming in my face, why don't you love me? Why would you make a fool out of me when all I wanted to do was care for you? You're so unappreciative, you're a fucking whore, you cheated on me. And I'm like thinking to myself, my gun just so happens to be in the fucking living room. So I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, like, we can talk about this, please. And he's like, I hate to see you cry. And I'm like, then can we just talk about this, please? And he goes, fine, whatever. So then we go to the living room, and I walk to the kitchen, and he's like, whoa, what the are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just getting something to drink. I was gonna ask if you wanted something to drink. And then he goes, oh, well, good, because it's about fucking time you start being nice to me. All right, bud. So then, you know, I ask what happened to Cynthia, and when he looks down at her and he's like telling me what happened, I grab my gun out of my purse, because my purse is sitting on like the island that's between the living room and the kitchen. And he looks at me, and I literally have it pointed at him, and I'm like, don't come any fucking closer. And at this point, I think he realized that he low-key fucked up, but then I feel like he didn't realize that, because I wasn't really gonna shoot him, and I think he knew that. Well, thankfully, saved by the fucking bell, somebody's knocking on our door, and it's actually the guys at the front desk, which is security. Because instead of having like somebody work the front desk at night, we just have security work the front desk. So, you know, he comes upstairs, he's like, we got a noise complaint. And I know you're probably thinking, well, why is there a noise complaint whenever, like, you know, a bunch of teenagers live in the apartment and you said that they party all the time? Well, because since it was a Thursday night, we did not throw parties. Parties were only for Fridays and Saturday nights, or if we were off of school. So, you know, I like slowly walk over to the door as I'm holding the gun pointed at him, and then I open the door, and the security comes in, and they're like, whoa, put the gun down, put the gun down. And I was like, it's him. He literally came in here and knocked my fucking friend out. She's laying on the ground. And so they're like, okay, you know, we call the police. Police get there, they take him away. Eventually, with a really good lawyer, we were able to put him away slave for 18 years, which I think he should get way more if you ask me. But I guess I'm just happy to be alive. Okay, everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of me, maybe hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to send in your anonymous story time, or you want to know how to send in an anonymous story time, go click the links down below in the description. But other than that, I will see you guys next Saturday with a new story time.